Welcome to this Excel Basics video tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll give you a quick introduction to Excel. I'll be showing you most of the basics that you need to know in order to get started using Microsoft Excel, so you can start to feel comfortable inside the application. You will have an idea where things are, how the spreadsheet is set up, and how you can input value. To open Excel, simply click this icon on the taskbar, or click Window icon. Type Excel, and click this Excel icon, and you get to this view. You can decide between this blank workbook, or if you've opened a recent file in Excel, you will see it down here. Beside blank workbooks are the ready template. There's so many of them, like budget, attendance, and a lot of great Excel spreadsheets that you can just open up and use by simply changing the data. I encourage you to browse and explore this list. Ready template is very useful, but to learn how to use Excel fully and properly, it's still best to use the blank workbook. First, let us learn about the layout that we have in Excel. There are certain terms that we need to know. This item across the top is called tabs. We have the Home tab, the Insert tab, Page Layout, and more. When you click on a particular tab, it opens up a ribbon. This is the ribbon for the Home tab. If I click the Page Layout tab, I get the Page Layout ribbon. Each of this ribbon is divided up into groups. So you can see this Themes group. This is the Page Setup group, a Scale to Fit group. And these are all on the Page Layout ribbon. And you get to that ribbon by clicking on the Page Layout tab. Those are some important terms that you will need to know. Tab. Ribbon group. You will notice in the corner of some of these groups, there's what called a launch button. So the Scale to Fit group has a little launch button in the corner. The Sheet Options group has a launch button in the corner. The purpose of this launch buttons basically give you even more options. A single Excel file is also referred to as a workbook or a spreadsheet. A workbook consists of at least one sheet. You can easily add more sheets by clicking on the plus here. When you double click on a sheet name, you can change the name and then press enter. This is the spreadsheet. And spreadsheets are made up of columns and rows. You can see we have an A column, B column, C column. And if I browse to the right, you can see that there's even more than that. And if needed, it will just keep going to the right, adding more and more columns. Once it gets to Z, it goes to AA, column AA, and so lots and lots of columns in this spreadsheet. What about rows? I have row number 1, row number 2, row number 3. So spreadsheets are made up of columns and rows. Now the intersection of a column and a row is what produces a cell. So this is a cell. A sheet contains many cells. This box here is a single cell. You can input numbers or text in here. Just start typing and then press enter. If you want to replace this value, just go to that cell and start typing. You don't have to double click, just type over it. Each cell has an address. The address of this cell is D4, which means column D, row 4. The intersection of a column and a row is a cell. Up here, you have the formula bar. Once we input text here, we can see it in the formula bars. If I move to the cell to the side, there is no data there. Now if instead of text, you have formulas. So if I go to the side here, type in an equal, and then go with my arrow keys to D4 and press enter. Notice what's in the formula bar. It has the formula and not the text. In this case, there is no formula. It shows the text. On the left here, we have the name box. This also shows us the active cell address. So in his case it's D4. When I go here, it's F4. In addition to columns, rows and cells, There's another part of a spreadsheet that you need to know about, and that is a range. A range is a group of cells that are together. A range could be this. It could be this. It could be this. It could be any number of things. It's basically a group of cells that are next to each other, that are together. And guess what? Ranges can also be named, just like cells can. So just like this is named L7. I can also name this. Now the way you name a range is you start in the upper left. And you name the cell in the upper left. This is L7. And then you say the word through, so L7 through. And then you say the name of the cell in the lower right, N12. L7 through N12. That is the name of this range. Let's take up sample work. We are going to input head count by department for a few different months. Let's give this a title, head count by department, and press enter. Now let's say we will use January till June. I can just type in Jan here. Now when I press tab, I go to the next cell. By default, if I press enter, you go to the cell below. If you want to press enter and stay on the same cell, you have to press Ctrl Enter as shortcut keys. Now if I go to the next cell, I can type in Feb then March and so on. But Excel has this already built in. So if you type in Jan, it recognizes that this is a month. Now when I pull this to the side, notice I can see May, and then at the bottom I have June here. Our first department is marketing. Type it in. If you ever need to go to edit mode, you can press F2. This is going to take you to the end of the text that you have. So if you want to continue with that text, you can just start typing. So in sales, for example, if you just start typing over the cell, remember, it's going to replace everything that was in the cell. I'm typing marketing here, then I'm going to press tab. Let's say type in 20 and then 20 and 20. And in case this is 20 for all these months. Again, don't forget that you can use the filler handle, so you can click and drag. And if you want a shortcut for this, there is one. Just highlight with the keyboard keys and then press Ctrl R. This is going to fill to the right. Now when you're on the end here and you press enter, you jump to the cell below. One way to make it easier for you to input a bunch of data is to highlight the area first. So in this case, when I highlight this, notice when I press tab and I get here and I press tab again, it goes to the first cell of the next row. So now I can type and then press tab, tab, tab and so on. To get out of this, you can just click away or use the arrow key to move out of the space. Now I'm just quickly going to add some data to this, and then let's do some formatting. Okay, so now we have some more data. Let's adjust the formatting of this. I want to center this across my report. So highlight the range, go to Home, and merge these cells. When you click it, it automatically merges and centers the cell. We can make these bold. Highlight and click on bold. And while we're here, let's also adjust the cell width to match the content of the cell. So I'm going to highlight all of these together and then double click to make this fit. Now if it's too tight for you, you can expand this a little bit. If you just select any of these while the rest are highlighted, it's going to make the same adjustment to the rest as well. Now you can go ahead and add color to this. Or add borders. So here you have a bottom border. You will have thick bottom border, in case you want to move something to be in the middle. So let's say I don't want HR on the bottom. I want HR between marketing and sales. You can select it, and then use the move handle to move it. But while you're moving it, don't just drop it, because if you try to do that, it says there's already data in there. Do you want to replace it? No, we definitely don't want to replace it. So what we want to do is bring it and put it in between marketing and sales. So while you're dragging this, hold down the shift key and then you see that line changes. It shows you where it's going to drop it. Now if you let go of the mouse, it's going to drop HR in between marketing and sales. Now you have other options to do this as well. If you don't want to use this combination, just right mouse click and cut, or use the shortcut key Ctrl X. Go to where you want this range to sit. Right mouse click and insert cut cells. Let's give the title some color as well. And if you ever adjust the formatting of the cell, and you want to apply that formatting to other cells, you can use the paintbrush icon. For example, let's say for some reason I made this red, and I want to apply that to the other ones. I can just go and click on the paintbrush, click on the cell I want, and it automatically applies the formatting. Now this is not just for color, it's any type of formatting you have. It can be a combination of bold font, cell borders and so on. If you want to apply that formatting to multiple cells, double-click on this paintbrush, and then you can reuse that formatting and apply to multiple cells. Once you're done, press Escape to remove it. If you want to sum up these values, you can go to Home and sum them from here. There's also a great shortcut key for this, which is Alt equals. When you click it, it tries to pick up the range. You just have to press Enter. Now you can fill the rest in, and the formula will be copied over, and the ranges will reflect the direct ranges above. If you want to do this in one go, you can first select your area and just use the shortcut key, Alt equals, and you're done. Excel Workbook is not automatically save as compared to Google Sheets. It is important to save file every time you finished certain task. To save, go to here. Click Save. And you can decide file name and directory where to save it. You can also use the shortcut key, Ctrl S. That's for now. And hope to give you more Excel tutorial in the coming months. Thank you. God bless. Keep safe everyone.